The royal family has been a popular topic of discussion recently given King Charles's coronation. It seems that the topic is pretty divisive though, so today on Where Are They Now, I'm Adam Andrews and we're talking about 10 controversial royal family moments they probably want to hide. At number 10, phone calls. We're kicking it off today talking about King Charles and his old raunchy phone calls with Camilla. Now this one is kinda gross, honestly. We are full aware of King Charles's marriage to his previous wife Diana and how it decidedly did not go well. There is infidelity on both sides here, but the one that really peed people off was Charles's affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. During the time that Camilla and Charles were still with their husband and wife respectively, the two did have some rather spicy secret phone calls. 1992 was the year that Charles and Diana officially separated, but it was also the year when one of these phone conversations were leaked to the public. And Charles had quite a few interesting things to say during that conversation. Things that I don't think I'm even really allowed to say on YouTube. Let's just say it had to do with feminine hygiene products and call it a day. If you are interested, you can feel free to research it for yourself, because I don't want to talk about it. Number 9. Toesies Wosies. Sarah Ferguson was married to a certain prince whose very name isn't even allowed on this video as far as I'm aware, but it begins with an A and ends with an Ndrew. That is a whole other story which may make this list anyways, but this pair ended up separating in 1992. When their marriage began to run its course, Sarah was a lot less discreet about her courting of other men, which of course resulted in the royal family's snubbing. The situation escalated even further when Sarah was pictured at a beach with financier John Bryan. Now during their sandy getaway, reporters managed to capture some unclothed snaps of Bryan and Sarah, and Bryan was munching on Sarah's toes. Excuse me while I just disgusting. Naturally, the Queen was not having any of that and ended up banning Sarah from Balmoral, and she didn't even go to the coronation of King Charles, even though her ex-husband, who she still lives with by the way, which is weird, he did go. So do you like hearing about the royal family? Or even just celebrities in general? Well, I got news for you. That's exactly what we talk about every single day here on Where Are They Now, so make sure to give us a like, leave a comment, or potentially subscribe to help support our channel and help us bring you more and better content. Thanks friends. But in at number 8, put that dog on a leash. As the only daughter of the late Queen Elizabeth and the sibling of King Charles, surprisingly this is one princess who I didn't think could land in any scandals. From her charity work to her seemingly kind heart, it's almost shocking to know that back when Princess Anne and her husband were placing their dogs into a car after a walk around Windsor's Great Park in 2002, one of those dogs, an English Bull Terrier, managed to escape and made its move on 2 young gentlemen who were enjoying their bike ride in the park. Princess Anne was taken to court and served an $880 fine. This marked the very first time a senior royal had ever been charged with a criminal offense. Reportedly, the next year or so, the dog ended up doing the same thing though to one of the Queen's most beloved corgis, which the royal family probably took more seriously. I'm guessing. I don't actually know that for sure. Number 7. Damn, Margaret! The Queen's sister, the late Princess Margaret, managed to grasp the interest of the public due to her, interesting lifestyle choices. Margaret never once feared living her life however she pleased, and was widely known to be a heavy drinker and smoker since she was 15. Despite her marriage to Anthony Armstrong Jones, a photographer, in 1960, Margaret didn't quite slow down her lifestyle at all. She started an entanglement with a gardener in 1973 who was reportedly 17 years younger than her. Damn! And she wasn't able to escape the press in 1976 when a picture of her and her reported lover, Roddy Llewellyn, made the front page and headlined the now discontinued news outlet News of the World. This was just the start of Margaret's string of affairs that rocked the boat in her marriage, and by the time 1978 rolled around, the former couple's divorce was finally finalized. But I'm sure she was perfectly fine. She seems to be getting men left, right, and center, so good job. Number 6. Damn, Beatrice! While she was 7th in line for the throne and held the title of being the Queen's granddaughter, Princess Beatrice was also a socialite and a philanthropist. However, she also had made some fairly sketchy dating decisions in her past. For example, back in 2006, Beatrice started seeing American playboy Paolo Liuzzo. However, ahead of his relationship with Beatrice, Paolo was indicted for taking the life of another man named Jonathan Duchatelier, who reportedly passed away as a result of the injuries he sustained from Paolo in 2002. The event that made those injuries happen was said to have taken place after Jonathan had confronted Paolo about his disrespect towards females at a party. However, the charge was eventually dropped and then reduced. This did not stop Paolo from breaking the terms of his probation, though, to woo Beatrice with a trip to the French Alps. Unsurprisingly enough, these two didn't really last very long. Number 5. The Black Spider Memos. You may or may not know that the British royal family doesn't really hold any power in England. They aren't supposed to try and interfere with the ruling of the country. Well, in 2015, that happened. A series of letters that then Prince Charles had written to former British Prime Minister Tony Blair and other legislators were revealed to the public after a decade-long legal battle. Dubbed the Black Spider Memos, the 27 letters included a missive lobbying to cull badgers and ignore badger lobby in the United Kingdom, among very many other things. In the same letter about the badgers, Charles talked about a visit he had made to Northern Ireland, and then he blasted the use of a British Lynx helicopter. He wrote, quote, "I fear that this is just one more example of where our armed forces are being asked to do an extremely challenging job without the necessary resources." Now it sounds very ominous, but the black spider description of these letters is actually just a reference to Charles's spidery handwriting in black ink. At the time, Charles was not king though, so he could get away with the letters. He told the BBC in 2018 that he would stop speaking publicly once he became sovereign, saying, quote, "I'm not that stupid." Fair enough. Number 4. The Second Son. The Queen's second son stepped back from royal duties in November 2019 following his TV interview with BBC Newsnight, which focused on his connections to a certain infamous GIF. The prince's statements at the time read, quote, "I have asked Her Majesty if I may step back from public duties for the foreseeable future, and she has given her permission. I continue to unequivocally regret my ill-judged association." Around this same time, Andrew had also denied Virginia Roberts' damning claims of incidents that took place in the mid to late 2000s, claiming that, quote, "it just never happened." But back in August 2021, Virginia Giuffre began legal action against the guy for allegedly mistreating her, and these are allegations he has repeatedly denied. In February 2022 though, the Duke reached an out-of-court settlement with Miss Giuffre. The amount paid will remain confidential, but in a statement it was disclosed that he will also donate to her charity as well. Needless to say, this affected his royal status. He will no longer use the title, quote, "His Royal Highness" in any official capacity, and at the coronation of King Charles he played no official part in the ceremony and did not join them on the balcony. He's basically just blacklisted and gone from the royal family. You know who I'm talking about. Number 3. Tighty Whities. In August of 2012, Prince Harry apparently shed his layers down to his nothings playing pool in a Las Vegas suite. What he may or may not have known at that time is that a dancer who was present at the High Roller's room snatched up a probably not so fresh of the prince's black royal tighty whities. And then she held on to them until August of 2022 when she put them up for auction. The opening bid started right at $10,000 and it slowly rose until it hit $16,000. But that is when a club owner from San Diego named Dino placed a crazy bid of $250,000 buckaroos. $250,000 for this old pair of royal boxer briefs. I haven't seen any updates on this auction, which ended in September of last year, so I think it's safe to assume that Dino has acquired the royal undies, apparently, and in his own words, to make a shrine to the prince. Kinda weird, but okay. Number 2. Lady Susan Hussey. In November 2022, Prince William's godmother and one of King Charles III's top team members, Lady Susan Hussey, resigned from her royal post amid allegations of unfair treatment against another person. A royal spokesperson said, quote, "We take this incident extremely seriously and have investigated immediately to establish the full details in this instance. Unacceptable and deeply regrettable comments have been made." This all kicked off when Ngozi Fulani claimed via social media that she was asked alarmingly insensitive questions about her family's background by Susan during a royal event. The palace stated that the firm reached out to Ngozi on this matter and are inviting her to discuss all elements of her experience in person if she wishes. Now while that was happening though, Susan herself stepped down from her duties immediately and she hasn't gone back either. And finally, in at number 1, it's Prince William. In 2019, the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William, was accused of having an affair with Duchess Rose Hanbury, who was also a close friend of his wife, Duchess Kate Middleton. At the time, a source exclusively revealed that Kate was surprisingly not exactly pleased when she caught wind of the hurtful rumors, which had some pretty explicit details to them. However, according to the source, the drama ended up changing the couple for the better. The insider said, quote, "It forced her and William to sit back and examine their relationship, which they realized they should have been doing more often." Now Rose's home is pretty close to Kate and William's Anmer Hall country estate, and they run in the same social circles, although that changed a little after the rumors surfaced. Since Rose lives in the countryside, that's likely why British tabloid The Sun started referring to her as Kate's rural rival, which is kind of hilarious. And apparently Kate did not appreciate this, which led to headlines about how Kate apparently tried to phase Rose out of their inner circle. There are lots of layers to this drama, but given the information that it contains about a certain prince's habits and preferences, it's not surprising that it has been kept mostly under wraps by the royal family. And there it is. Thank you so much for watching here on Where Are They Now. I am your host, Adam Andrews. I will catch you all on the flippy flop. Stay safe and well informed out there.